Welcome back to Wicked Inc. Originals, your Saturday night destination for original horror stories. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely. Because tonight's tale might just haunt your dreams. Tonight's story: The Last Message on the Old Landline. For as long as I can remember, my grandmother's old rotary phone sat in the corner of her living room, silent, an artifact of a time before cell phones and texts, when voices traveled through wires and signals. When she passed away, the house was emptied quickly, the belongings divided among family. I took the phone. It felt strange to bring a piece of her world into mine, but something about that old phone felt like a tether, a connection I wasn't ready to let go of. It sat on a side table in my apartment, gathering dust, the coiled cord stiff and knotted from years of disuse. I never thought it would ring again. No one had touched it in 20 years. The landline it belonged to had been long disconnected. But late one night, one of those nights where the world outside slips into silence and the shadows in the corners of your room seem to breathe, the phone shattered the quiet with a sudden, piercing ring. One sharp ring, two, three. The sound echoed against the walls. My heart slammed against my ribs as if it wanted to escape. I stared, frozen, my hand hovering over the receiver. How? Why? Was it a prank? An old wiring glitch? Then the ringing stopped. But my trembling hand picked up the receiver. Hello? Static hissed back at me. Then a voice, fragile and distant. My dear. It was her voice. The unmistakable voice of my grandmother. I dropped the receiver for a moment, disbelief swirling in my mind. She had been gone for years. How could it be her? Who else could it be? I gripped the receiver again. I warned you, the voice whispered, fragile yet heavy with urgency. The danger is coming. It's already too late. The line crackled, voice fading like a memory dissolving in fog. Secrets buried long ago. They will rise. The past is not done with us. Cold ran down my spine. My thoughts tumbled. Secrets, danger, curses, and fate. I remembered the old stories Grandma used to tell me as a child, whispers of family secrets she never explained fully. Tales of debts unpaid, of promises broken. I wanted to ask more, but the voice faded again. Don't ignore the shadows. They watch. They wait. They remember. And then, the call ended. I was left clutching the silent receiver. The room seemed colder, heavier, as if an unseen presence pressed in on me. The next day, I called the phone company. No active line there for 20 years, the operator said flatly. No one should have been able to call me on that phone. I told myself it was a glitch, a trick of the mind, the loneliness of losing Grandma playing tricks on me. But that night, the phone rang again. Same time. Same shrill tone. Same urgent voice. Each time, the message grew clearer. Pieces of a story emerging like fragments of a nightmare, of betrayal, curses, and consequences. I pored over Grandma's old journals, tucked away in boxes I had brought home from her house. Her neat handwriting told stories of a pact made generations ago, sealed with blood, sealed with silence. I read about family members who disappeared mysteriously, accidents never fully explained, strange symbols etched into the corners of letters. The house I grew up in, the town I still lived in, tied into the story in ways I never understood. With each night, the shadows in my apartment seemed to stretch longer. Strange noises echoed from the walls. I caught glimpses of movement in the corners of my eyes, nothing when I turned. One evening, the phone rang again. The voice was clearer. They're coming for you. You cannot run. My blood ran cold. Who? What? I looked out the window, the street empty and quiet, but the wind whispered through the trees like a warning. The past was reaching out. And now, I was caught in its grip. I realized the voice wasn't just a warning. It was a curse. The last message on the old landline wasn't just a call from beyond. It was a call to survive. Because what's coming is already here. Thank you for listening to Wicked Inc. Originals. If you survived this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow brave souls. Until next Saturday, keep your lights on and your fears closer.